Yuji boxing game is so cold. He kind of reminds me of when your little big brother hits you and you kind of looking at him like he's still weak as hell. But you know, deep down, the first thing you thinking is, I may actually have to fight. He really liked that. Yuji, Rika, and Okotsu got that coordination. Sorta reminds me of that whole Todo and Yuji impression. When this gets animated, that season 3? When that season 3 hit, Mappa, okay, look, I get it. Like, Mappa, I mean, the working conditions is tight, and look, my heart goes out to those guys. But I ain't gonna lie to you, man, that animation was cold. I already know how to feel right now, whether to feel sad for the workers or happy that the animation is nice. Sukuna's still getting burned by the fact that he fought Gojo. And I mean, when he fought with him and he came out with his original body, we kind of sat there and thought, alright, this man back up to scratch. Turns out, doing all those domains, basically he messed around and he found out. Gojo probably sitting in the afterlife thinking, oh, you thought you was like that. I mean, nah, I'm nice. Like, I mean, I may have gotten smoked, but you not like that. Like, you not him. I mean, he kind of is, because Gojo was supposed to be the top of the food chain. But, yo, so it turns out that a lot of people who actually watch my channel aren't even subscribed. A lot of y'all actually from my recommendations list. So if y'all want to do me a solid and hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, especially if you like this kind of content. Thanks. Okotsu's domain allows him to use any ability that he has copied as his sure hit effect on his domain. Imagine if he copied Limitless. Now I know that there's probably discrepancies with that because you know you gotta have the 6 eyes and all this and that. Imagine if he had the same sure hit as Infinite Void. Sukuna uses Hollow Wicker Basket as some sort of, it's basically like a simple domain. The swords in his domain allow him to use any of the abilities that he's actually copied. But the drawback is he doesn't actually know which ability it actually is. Now, I guess that's a way to kind of even it out so it's not a broken technique. If he genuinely knows which ability is attached to which sword, he could basically spam the same sword. But he can only use the sword once, but there's like an infinite amount of swords. And I mean, Yuta is in Africa, so I can't even imagine the abilities he's actually copied. So we're learning more and more about Yuji's technique. I'm guessing his technique is similar to Mahito's to the point where he affects the soul. With each blow Yuji makes on Sukuna, it's actually affecting the barrier between Sukuna's soul and Megami's soul, decreasing the output that Sukuna has and the control that he has over Megami's body. With enough blows, it'll get to the point where he can't use that simple domain anymore and he loses control over the body. Yuji is nice with the hands. I mean, Mahito knows. Sukuna's curse output at this point is on the same level as Yuta's, and as far as I know, Yuta did say that Sukuna has more than double his overall output. Sukuna's operating probably at half strength. They knew for a fact that if he never fought Gojo, oh, it would have been game over. It would have definitely been game over. Overall, his output's low and his reverse curse technique is a little sluggish. I mean, he can still use it, but he's not as nice. So, I mean, y'all gotta put some respect on Gojo's name because y'all been dogging this man since the I'd win moment. And despite the fact that he got filleted in half, allegedly, y'all ain't let this man sleep, not one bit. Let this man rest, man. He done put in his work, he put in his time, to the point where at least the youngsters actually got a shot at taking down Sukuna. The choreography in this chapter was absolutely crazy. Yuji arm blocks Sukuna to the point where now, in order for Sukuna to do some real damage, like I'm talking fatal type moves, he has to touch you. A flying slash really ain't gonna do it for him at this point, or do it for anybody. Sukuna grabs his jacket, ready to turn this whole joint into a checkered fit. Just at that point, it leaves him open to Yuta's attack, where he uses Inumaki's technique and tells Sukuna not to move. Sukuna's open, and he gets hit with a thin icebreaker. Sukuna's flying back, he goes straight into Rika, and Rika gives him this Dragon Ball Z double axe hand spike into the ground. I'm like, man, this gonna look cold when it gets animated. Now, I mean, Mappa, stop playing. Handle your business, man. Handle your business. Sukuna recovers and he hits him with a flying slash. It ain't really doing nothing. Yuji just using reverse curse technique and he just healing up. So, I mean, this man is nice and clearly he been doing a little something. Okotsu chilling. you know damn well it's not doing nothing to him. Yuji and Yuta are locked in. Just the focus in their eyes should actually be studied. You can just tell they ain't playing no more. I mean, they ain't never been playing, but at this point in time, the game is the game. They know this is the real deal. They're at the point now where Yuji's sitting there talking about this is the strongest sorcerer right now. I can't even imagine if we didn't actually have him in the spot right now. Okotsu uses future sight to anticipate Sukuna's moves. Sukuna's using that as an opportunity to list out the techniques that Okotsu's used so far. He even speculates even further that Okotsu may have copied the Limitless, but then he's like, well, he kind of needs the 6 eyes for that. They're distant cousins, so I mean, I think it's a bit of a stretch to say if he's actually copied it, but if he could copy it, I wouldn't really be surprised. They are distant cousins at this point, so the bloodline is there. I mean, it's not a direct bloodline, but the thing is they are interconnected in some way or possibility. But even if he does copy it, we don't really know the extent to Yuta's copy abilities. I'm guessing he needs some blood to at least be able to gain the ability of the person he's trying to copy. I would go that far, because Sukuna has definitely spilled blood in this situation. Sukuna's losing. I don't think he's gonna lose in the sense that he's gonna get obliterated, but I definitely think they're gonna weaken him down enough to the point where he's at the same level as Yuji, and him and Yuji just gonna have to slug it out. Like, they gonna blow for blow, son. Would Okotsu die? At this point, I don't really know. I feel like he could die if it makes the story a lot more interesting, but Kenjaku's gone. And at this point, Kenjaku's definitely got a plan A, B, C, D, basically the entire alphabet, because we know for a fact he's way too smart. He may have been killed off, but he's not leaving without doing some dirt. So I'm expecting something to happen at that point in time, especially knowing he's given Megumi the ability to finish off the merger. This was a fire chapter, and I genuinely enjoyed this. Yuta comes to the conclusion that in order to catch Sukuna off guard, he's gonna have to hit him with a technique that he hasn't used so far. And I mean, there's a gang of swords over there or whatever. I'm guessing he didn't anticipate that he was actually gonna copy Cleave. Sukuna at this point can't use his world-dominating slash just because of the amount of curse output that he's using just to maintain his hollow wicker basket and also Megumi's body. As Yuji continues to pound away and basically Yuji's doing chip damage at this point. So as much chip damage as he is doing, Sukuna will lose control at some point. That seems like the only crack in his armor in which they're going to be able to take him out with. But I mean, at this point, anything can happen. Anybody can die at this point. No one is actually safe. But that's all from me. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll holler at y'all later, man. Peace.